The alien convoy was dying. 3 small civilian ships drifted through the dark edge of known space, their engines damaged, their shields barely holding. Long streaks of burn marks covered their hulls. Inside, lights flickered. Power was failing. Every minute mattered. Commander Varek stood on the bridge of the lead ship, staring at the tactical screen. Red warning symbols blinked everywhere. Behind them, far in the distance, hostile signals were growing closer. The hunters had found them again. This convoy was not military. It carried families, scientists, children, survivors of a world that no longer existed. Their home planet had burned only weeks ago, wiped out by a conquering empire that crushed weaker species without mercy. They had run ever since. Varek clenched his claws. "Status," he said calmly, even though fear burned inside him. "We have fuel for one more short jump," an officer replied. "Shields at 20%. Weapons, nearly useless." Silence followed. Everyone knew what that meant. Varek looked at the communications console. "How many SOS signals have we sent?" The officer hesitated. 112, Commander." And replies? None. The galaxy had heard them. Varek knew that. Their signal used all standard emergency codes. Any spacefaring species would recognize it. But no one answered. Some species feared the enemy empire. Others simply did not care. Weak lives were cheap in the galaxy. The convoy slowed as power drained. Children cried softly in the background channels. Parents tried to stay strong, but fear filled every voice. Varek turned away from the screen. He remembered the stories his elders told him, stories about deathworlds. Planets so harsh that only monsters could evolve there. Worlds with crushing gravity, violent weather, and endless war. One name came to his mind. Earth. The room went still. An officer looked up sharply. "Commander. Earth is a death world. Their species is unstable. Dangerous." "I know," Varek replied. "But they are alive. And they fight." Another officer whispered, "The records say they survived planetary wars, nuclear fire, extinction events." "Yes," Varek said quietly. "And they are still standing." Earth was not part of any galactic alliance. Humans were unpredictable. Many species avoided them. Some feared them. But Earth was also known for something else. They answered distress calls. Varek moved to the console himself. His claws hovered over the controls. This signal would be different. It would be raw. Honest. No politics. No requests for trade or favors. Just truth. "Begin recording," he said. The camera activated. "This is Commander Varek of the Keeler civilian convoy," he spoke, voice steady but tired. "Our world has been destroyed. We are being hunted. We carry only non-combatants." He paused, choosing his next words carefully. "To whoever hears this, we do not ask for victory. We ask for time. We ask for mercy." Then he looked straight into the camera. "To Earth. To humanity. We know your world is harsh. We know you are called deathworlders. If that is true, then please hear us." A distant explosion shook the ship. The enemy was closer now. "This is our final SOS." The transmission ended. The officer swallowed hard. "Signal sent, Commander." Varek closed his eyes. Minutes passed. Then more. Nothing. Enemy ships appeared on sensors, large, armed, confident. Their formation was perfect. They had done this many times before. The lead enemy ship opened a channel. "Surrender your vessels," a cold voice said. "Resistance is pointless." Varek did not answer. Instead, he stared at the empty space ahead. If Earth did not respond soon, there would be no one left to save. Suddenly, the sensors flickered. "What was that?" an officer asked. Another alert sounded. "Not enemy. Something else. Long-range space distortion." The bridge fell silent. "That reading, it doesn't match known drives," the sensor officer said, confused. "Energy output is impossible." Varek's eyes widened. The space ahead of them rippled, as if reality itself was tearing open. A single word appeared on the screen. "Incoming." The enemy fleet hesitated for the first time. Varek whispered, barely breathing, "Earth, heard us." And somewhere beyond the stars, humanity was answering. The signal reached Earth at 3:17 Universal Time. It arrived like thousands of others, weak, damaged, and incomplete, but something about it made the monitoring system pause. The deep space array beneath Earth's southern oceans automatically flagged it as priority distress. Within seconds, human analysts were awake. Lieutenant Harris leaned forward, eyes locked on the waveform. "That's not military," he said. "No encryption. No tricks." Another analyst frowned. "It's a civilian convoy. Multiple life signs. They're running." The room filled with quiet tension as the translated message played. "Our world has been destroyed. We are being hunted." No one spoke. Then the final words echoed through the chamber. "To Earth. To humanity. We ask for mercy." Silence followed. Harris swallowed. "They know what we are." "Yes," said Director Chin softly. "And they still called us." Within minutes, the recording was transmitted to higher command. Screens lit up across Earth, military bunkers, orbital stations, deep space fleets. And then, it reached the council chamber. The room was made of stone, steel, and scars from older wars. Flags of Earth's nations lined the walls. The people inside had fought together once before, when Earth itself was threatened. The message ended. No one clapped. No one argued. A general finally spoke. "They're running from an empire that wipes out civilians." Another added, "That empire has violated 3 non-interference treaties." A politician hesitated. "This could start a war." The general looked at him. "It already did. Just not ours." Eyes turned to the center of the room, where Admiral Reyes stood. Her voice was calm, but sharp. "Humans survived because no one saved us," she said. "We learned to save ourselves." She paused. "And when someone finally calls us, we don't ignore it." No vote was taken. There was no need. Admiral Reyes turned to the command console. "Activate Deathworld Protocol." The room changed instantly. Across Earth and its colonies, ancient systems woke up. Red lights replaced green. Doors sealed. Fleets that had not moved in decades powered on. In deep orbit, massive ships rotated slowly as engines warmed. Armor plates shifted into combat position. Weapon cores glowed with restrained energy. On one hangar deck, a young pilot stared at his display. "Sir, these ships, they're not listed." The commander nodded. "They're not supposed to be. Humanity had learned long ago, peace only lasted if war was ready." In space, the alien convoy waited. Enemy ships moved closer, confident again. Their weapons charged. Victory was routine for them. Then their sensors screamed. "What is that?" an enemy officer shouted. Space twisted. Not like a normal jump. This was violent. Heavy. Like something forcing its way through reality. One ship appeared. Then another. Then dozens. Huge. Armored. Silent. Their hulls were scarred, not polished. Built for survival, not beauty. Heat signatures burned like controlled suns. Human warships. The enemy commander laughed nervously. Identify yourselves. The response came instantly. No delay. No fear. This is the United Earth Fleet. The voice was calm. Almost bored. You are attacking civilian vessels. A pause. You will disengage. Now. The enemy commander sneered. You have no authority here. The human voice replied, unchanged. We didn't ask for authority. Weapon systems powered up across the fleet. The energy readings alone made enemy sensors overload. The alien convoy watched in disbelief. These ships, an officer whispered to Varek. They are putting themselves between us and the enemy. Varek stared at the screen. Human ships moved forward, forming a wall. A shield. The enemy fired. Human shields held. Then the humans answered. The first shot erased an enemy cruiser in a single flash. No explosion. Just gone. The rest of the enemy fleet panicked. The human voice returned, colder now. Last warning. The enemy ran. Those who didn't, stopped existing. As silence returned to space, the human fleet held position. No cheers. No messages of pride. Just protection. A new channel opened to the convoy. This is Earth, the voice said. You're safe now. Varek felt his legs weaken. Earth had not hesitated. Earth had answered. The enemy fleet tried to run. Their ships turned hard, engines flaring at unsafe levels. Formation broke. Discipline vanished. These were not warriors used to resistance. They were hunters who attacked the weak. And now, something stronger was hunting them. Human ships did not chase wildly. They moved with calm precision. Each ship already knew its target. No shouting. No confusion. Just execution. On the bridge of the human flagship, Admiral Reyes watched the battlefield in silence. Red markers vanished one by one. Civilian shield status, she asked. Stable, an officer replied. All alien vessels protected. Good, Reyes said. Keep it that way. Human ships shifted positions smoothly, always staying between the convoy and danger. Even while firing, they never exposed the civilians. To the alien survivors, it looked impossible. They are fighting, and guarding us at the same time, an officer whispered. Commander Varek stood frozen, watching human tactics unfold. The humans did not fight like the empires he knew. They did not rush for glory. They did not boast. They hunted. An enemy cruiser fired a desperate barrage. Plasma bolts slammed into a human destroyer. Armor burned. Shields dipped. The destroyer did not retreat. Instead, it pushed forward. Why isn't it falling back? An alien child asked over an open channel. Varek answered quietly, because they don't leave their line. The human destroyer fired point blank. The enemy cruiser vanished in white light. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out. Human ships took hits meant for civilians. They absorbed damage and answered with overwhelming force. The enemy commander screamed orders that no one followed. His fleet was breaking apart. Unknown human fleet, he shouted into the void, we withdraw. Cease fire. The human reply was immediate. Negative. A pause. You attacked civilians. Another pause. We end threats. A final volley ended the enemy command ship. Silence followed. Wreckage drifted slowly through space. No enemy signals remained. The alien convoy was alive. For the first time since their world burned, no one was chasing them. On the human flagship, Admiral Reyes exhaled slowly. Begin recovery operations. Medical ships moved in. Repair drones launched. Soft lights replaced battle alerts. A channel opened to the convoy. "This is the United Earth Fleet," the calm voice said again. "Do not be afraid. We are approaching to assist." Varek forced himself to speak. "Earth, why did you come?" There was a brief pause. Not from hesitation, but from thought. "Because you asked," the human replied. That answer shook Varek more than the battle. Human boarding teams arrived, not armed soldiers, but medics and engineers. They moved quickly, efficiently, gently. They spoke in calm tones. They carried children. They stabilized the wounded. A human medic knelt beside an injured alien elder. "You're safe," she said softly. "We've got you." The elder stared at her. "You fought an empire, for strangers." The medic nodded once. "That's what we do." Varek watched everything in silence. He had heard the stories. Humans were violent. Humans were dangerous. Humans were deathworlders. All of that was true. But it was incomplete. Humans were dangerous to enemies. To the weak, they were something else. Later, as ships were repaired and refugees transferred, Varek stood on the observation deck of his vessel. Outside, human warships floated like silent giants. One of his officers joined him. "Commander, the galaxy will hear about this." "Yes," Varek said. "And they will be afraid." He paused. "They should be." A final message echoed across open channels, human transmission, unencrypted. "To all who listen," the voice said. "We answered a call for help. This is not expansion. This is not conquest." A pause. "This is a warning." The message ended. Varek understood then. The galaxy had made a mistake, not by attacking his people, but by believing Earth would stay quiet. And somewhere far away, other powers were already checking their sensors. And rethinking every ignored SOS. The news spread faster than light. Across the known galaxy, listening stations picked up fragments of the battle, energy spikes, impossible readings, entire fleets going silent in seconds. Observers replayed the data again and again, hoping they had made a mistake. They had not. A civilian convoy had survived an imperial purge. Because Earth answered. In neutral space, diplomats gathered in emergency halls. Screens showed frozen images of human warships, scarred hulls, massive frames, weapons still glowing from recent use. One ambassador whispered, "Those ships were not designed for short wars." Another replied, "They were designed to end them." The empire that had hunted the convoy denied everything at first. They claimed pirates. Accidents. Misunderstandings. Then the evidence arrived. Clean, precise recordings of their attack. And the moment human fleets appeared, silence followed. For the first time in centuries, the Empire's borders went dark. Their fleets pulled back. Their patrols stopped provoking weaker systems. Fear had done what treaties never could. Meanwhile, the survivors rested under human protection. Temporary shelters were built inside massive carrier ships. Food was shared. Medical care continued without question. Commander Varek walked through a human refuge deck. Children laughed softly for the first time in weeks. Parents slept without fear of alarms. A human officer approached him. "We'll escort you to a safe system," she said. "You can rebuild." Varek nodded. "You expect nothing in return?" The officer smiled faintly. "You already paid. You survived." That night cycle, Varek accessed the galactic networks. He watched debates unfold. Some praised humanity. Others warned against them. One message repeated everywhere. Earth broke the balance. Varek understood why they said it. The galaxy had rules. Power was controlled. Violence was measured. Humans did not fit those rules. They carried their own. On Earth, Admiral Reyes stood before a silent council again. Reports floated in the air, political fallout, trade sanctions, warnings. A council member asked, was it worth it? Reyes did not hesitate. Yes. Another asked, what if they fear us? Reyes replied calmly, they already did. Now they understand why. The council dismissed. Fleets did not stand down. Because Earth knew something the galaxy did not yet accept. More SOS calls would come. And some would be ignored. Others would reach Earth. Back in space, the human fleet prepared to depart. Engines charged. Escorts formed around the convoy. Before leaving, one final broadcast was sent, short, simple, clear. To any who listen, the message said. Earth does not seek war. A pause. But we will always answer those who are hunted. The transmission ended. In distant systems, rulers stared at the stars differently. Military planners rewrote doctrines. Empires hesitated before pulling triggers. Because now, every time a ship cried for help, one question echoed in their minds. Did Earth hear it? Commander Varric watched the human fleet move ahead of them, forming a protective path through space. He lowered his head in respect. The galaxy had ignored their SOS. But the deathworlders had not. And that truth would never be forgotten. The journey to safety took many days. The human fleet moved slowly, never rushing, never leaving the convoy unguarded. Scouts jumped ahead. Heavy ships stayed behind. The civilians were always in the center. Protected. Commander Varric watched from the observation deck as stars passed by. For the first time since his world burned, space did not feel like a trap. It felt quiet. A human liaison officer joined him. We're nearing the safe zone, she said. A neutral system. No Empire control. Varric nodded. You could have left us after the battle. The officer looked at him calmly. That's not how we finish things. When the convoy arrived, automated stations activated. Habitats unfolded. Medical facilities powered on. Supplies flowed freely. A place to start again. As the first refugees stepped onto the station, some cried. Others knelt. Many simply stood in silence, unable to believe they were alive. Varric turned to the human officer. Why do you do this? She thought for a moment. Because once, no one came for us. That answer carried more weight than any speech. As the refugees settled, the human fleet prepared to leave. Engines warmed. Formation tightened. Before departure, a final transmission was sent, open, uncoded, for the entire galaxy to hear. This is Earth. The voice was steady. Not proud. Not angry. We do not hunt territory. We do not demand tribute. A pause. But when a cry for help reaches us, we answer. Another pause, longer this time. If you hunt the weak, fear us. The message ended. Across the galaxy, reactions were instant. Some worlds quietly updated their emergency frequencies, adding Earth to the top of the list. Some empires erased attack plans. Some commanders hesitated for the first time in their lives. And some began to regret old choices. Commander Varric watched the human ships turn away, one by one, slipping back into the darkness. They saved us, an officer beside him said. And they ask for nothing. Varric replied softly, they already took something. What? Our silence. He understood now. The galaxy had lived comfortably by ignoring screams. By pretending distance was an excuse. By believing strength meant survival alone. Earth shattered that belief. Not with conquest. but with response. As the last human ship vanished, Varek accessed the station's archive. He recorded a message, not a request, not a warning. A record. To whoever finds this, he said, remember this day. Remember that when the galaxy turned away, Earth did not. He ended the recording and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, humanity was listening. Waiting. And every future hunter would now ask the same question before attacking the weak. What if Earth answers? The galaxy would never ignore an SOS the same way again. Because once Earth heard one, and everything changed.